Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. As you know that we were learning study of poetry written by Matthew Arnold today. So as you have heard some important points about this lecture, that he was saying that what can be the future of poetry and what is the importance of poetry. So therefore, as you know, and you have also read about the future of poetry in the text written by Matthew Arnold. So future of poetry is immense. So I have also told you about the meaning of immense. It means that poetry will be entertained and enjoyed and read by the people in the future, in the days to come. So it means that poetry has a very bright future in the days to come. And also all religions and philosophies will be replaced by poetry. So it means, it doesn't mean that religions and philosophies will come to an end, but it means that poetry will play a very important role in all religions and in all manner of philosophies. So therefore we can't ignore poetry altogether, and it will be in the minds of all the people, and they will enjoy it in one way or the other. Next, poetry can be used, according to Matthew Arnold, poetry is used for higher uses and for higher destinies. So what are the higher uses and higher destinies? So it means that it can be used for lofty and for higher kinds of thoughts. So if a person is going to send a message to the world and he is interested that I should convey the message in an impressive way and manner, so then he can also use poetry, and through his poetry he can send the message to the world in a very impressive manner. So as far as destiny is concerned, so it means that it can mold and shape the destinies of a nation. It means that those nations who are in the habit of reading and enjoying poetry, so it means that it is having a very good impact on their destinies, on their luck and on their fate. Because if a person is going to read a piece of poetry or any poem, so it means that he is going to shape his life according to the ideals, according to the thoughts of the poet. So this is also one of the best way if a person wants that I want to bring a big change in my life. So then for that purpose he should read poetry extensively, because after all behind that poetry there is a great poet and a great writer, and a great writer always have this purpose in mind, that he wants to give you aesthetic and artistic beauty regarding poetry, and also behind that poetry or that piece of poem he wants to inculcate in your mind some kind of a moral lesson. So in a way, inadvertently or unintentionally, he is going to impress the world and to give them a very good moral lesson, and thus he is able to bring a very big success in the lives of human beings. Next, Intergrate Life. So first of all, let us come to know about the meaning of this very word. Interpret means explain the meaning of a word, explain the meaning of something. So poetry is a great help if you want to interpret life, if you want to know that what is life. So when we are going to read any kind of poem, when we are going to study any kind of poet, so it means that we are coming to interpret life. We comes to know about the real picture of life, and we know that what is life in reality. So therefore poetry in a way depicts life. They hold mirror to life, and they present life before our very eyes. When we read poetry, so it means that we come to know about life. So if a person is interested or he has keen interest in life, so then he should read poetry, because poetry will bring a very true and clear picture about the life in which he is living. Next, console us. So console means give satisfaction. this is also the case with us. Whenever we are in a bad mood, when we are despondent and having some kind of pessimistic views, and we are gloomy, we are not in a good mood. So if at that time we take any kind of poetry and we read it aloud, so then our pessimistic and our bad and gloomy mood can be changed for the better. So it means that it has some kind of moral and spiritual impact on our mind and our heart. So therefore, whenever we are not feeling very well, so in that case, then we should turn to poetry and we should study it so that we can remove our worries and we can overcome the woes, the troubles which we have come across in our life. Next, sustain life. So it means, as you know, that food is important for all of us if you want to survive. So same is the case with poetry, that it has sustaining power. It has a very good impact on our life. As food is important and essential for us to live, same is the case with the poetry. If you are not feeling well and if you are depressed and dejected, so just a piece of poem, just a piece of few lines of poetry can change our life, and it can give us some kind of spiritual power. So for this purpose, we should read poetry extensively. Next, all science and philosophy. So here Matthew Arnold wants to say that in the future only poetry will be read and will be enjoyed by the people, and he says that all sciences and religions and philosophies will be replaced by it. So he doesn't want to say, he doesn't mean it here that poetry will take the place of religions, philosophy and science, but he wants to say that poetry will also play a very important role in religions, in philosophies and in science. So therefore we cannot ignore poetry from any kind of science, but all the time it will be used in one form or the other, and people will enjoy poetry whether they are going to study philosophy, science or religion, because most of the time all religions of the world have come to us in the form of a poetry. Just see to the Quran, there is some kind of poetic beauty in all the verses of the Quran, and poetry was also enjoyed by the Arabs, and through their poetry, because they were having very keen interest in the poetry, so Quran was also, you can say, revealed in the form of a poetic beauty. So therefore Matthew Arnold says that in all manners of philosophy, religion and science, poetry has a very important role, and we cannot ignore it altogether from these sciences. So therefore in the end he wants to say that we should study poetry because of all these advantages and benefits which poetry has for the humankind. So the best way of studying poetry is that you can study either an English writer, and you can also study Urdu writer, Urdu poet, or any poet by which you are impressed. And this is the only way if you want to get out of the quagmire of this life, because life is full of worries and woes and troubles, shortcomings and stresses. So whenever you will go to study poetry, so it means that you are going to get out of that quagmire of woes and worry. So therefore Matthew Arnold's gives a substance and summary of his study of poetry is that he says that people can ignore, people can live any kind of science or philosophy or religion, but poetry is such thing that they will never forget, and they will all the time keep with them and will study in the days to come. So it means that it is very important, it is the soul of human beings, and without poetry they will not be able to survive to some extent. Thank you very much.